Lust is your strength, not your weakness. Watch this video and I'll explain why. So the common thought amongst, men that are practicing semen retention, and this was my thought for a long time, was that my lust was my biggest weakness. It was the one thing that I just really had a hard time with. I could quit everything else. I could quit drinking. I could quit smoking weed. I could quit spending too much time on my phone. It's really all the addictions. Nicotine. I could quit nicotine. All that stuff. Simple, easy enough to quit. But lust was the one that was always there. And I knew for a long time that lust was like my battle. That was going to be my biggest battle in life. Was trying to, at the time I thought overcome lust, but I don't think overcome is the right word. It's just kind of integrating it, right? Because lust is just a perversion of sexual desire, right? There's no problem with sexual desire, but lust is the perversion of it. So what is perversion, right? A man can want to have sex, and he's not a pervert. But a man who always, constantly wants to have sex is a pervert, right? It gets weird. Perversion is just like digging too deep into something, going too far. That's when it's perverted, right? You pervert something. So that's really what lust is. It's the perversion of sexual nature. And you have to come to realize that lust is your strength as a man, not your weakness, right? If you had no sexual desire, what would you be as a man? You definitely wouldn't be a man, right? So you have this strong urge, this strong desire, and you have to come to the point of understanding if you indulge it too much, and the sexual desire, your sexual nature turns into lust, you end up with guilt, shame, and despair, right? And this is the trick of, you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to say the devil for ease of, the devil, Satan, whatever, just for ease of conversation, but just think of it as the dark or the evil forces of the world, right? Think of it as light and dark, evil, good, truth and lies, whatever. So what the devil wants is to use your lust to put you into a state of guilt, shame, and despair. If you look at the scale of emotions, I might pop it up on the screen here, I might not, but if you look at the scale of emotions, I think guilt and shame are like right at the bottom. Like they're the worst emotions vibrationally that you can feel, right? It's the worst state you can be in. And that is the point. The point is not to have you in a lustful state. The point is to have you in a shameful state and to eventually lead you to despair, where you start giving up on life because you've been emasculated through your lust. You don't feel like a man, right? And so a lot of times what you'll see is the men that go into despair end up clinging to dudes like Andrew Tate, who they're trying to over-masculinize themselves to compensate for how weak they feel inside, right? So they go way too far. They go way, way, way too far. And we all know this about men, that it's not the dog who barks the most and the loudest that is the toughest and the strongest, right? You've moved into this state of lust. Your sexual nature has successfully been perverted. And now, we all know this. It was a joke when I was in high school, when me and my friends would talk about watching porn, and how we would talk about how, like, man, do you feel bad after you do it? Like, right after you nut, do you feel bad? And everyone said the same thing. Yeah, I feel that too. Like, as soon as I'm done, I'm like, why did I do this? This is disgusting. And as you get older, you become desensitized to that kind of disgusting feeling inside, because you're already existing in that state of that disgusted feeling. That disgusted feeling is the guilt and the shame, right? It's coming immediately. You get hit with it. Post-nut clarity, boom, guilt and shame, immediately. And that is the point. The point is, lust is not like an emotional vibration, but guilt, shame, and despair are. And so, what does the Bible say about the character of Satan? Is he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He can steal your masculinity through your lust, emasculating you. He can destroy your life by putting you into this guilt and shame and end up to death with despair, right? So you can see it play out through your sexuality. So his thing is not, tapping in on your lust. He wants to tap in on your guilt. He wants to get you to feel shame. Because when you feel guilt and when you feel shame, you feel suppressed, right? I was in that state. I didn't talk to girls. I didn't date girls because I was addicted to porn. And I was trying to break my addiction to porn. And it was because I had all this guilt and this shame. I said, I'm not worthy of a woman. I don't need to be talking to a woman right now. I have to focus on myself and get my shit together here. So it was guilt and shame suppressing me and held me down for like a year or so, that I didn't talk to women, nothing. Now I got a girlfriend after I came out of it, but you get the idea that is it's literally, they call it demonic oppression. You can be demonically oppressed, right? That's it. It's oppressing you, holding you down in life. Your lust is not holding you down. Your guilt and your shame is holding you down. The lust is just what comes first, right? And if it goes far enough, you get to the place of despair, right? Where you're completely emasculated. You don't feel like a man. And you're just living in this state of, how could I get a girlfriend? How could I get a wife? How could I ever possibly make more money? How could I ever possibly buy a house and be successful and have a family, right? This stuff starts going through your mind, but it turns out there's people all around you fucking doing it. So if you think that you can't, you're wrong, because there's people all around you doing it, so it's possible. They're normal humans just like you, but you think that you can't. It's the despair, right? Everyone thinks that dating is so fucked, right? I get it. It's a little bit weird, but if you look around and people are dating, you're in a state of despair around dating. So, how is lust your strength instead of your weakness? Lust is your strength because it's teaching you to harden yourself. It's giving you something to overcome. Let's put it I said not overcome. How about this? It's giving you something to battle with. If you had nothing that held you down, you wouldn't know how to operate within yourself. You wouldn't know how to handle hard times if you didn't have a personal struggle and a personal story of overcoming, right? So God has to put something in everyone's life that is their Achilles heel, right? Isn't that funny that Achilles had a weakness? So we all have this Achilles heel, this Achilles tendon, right? So the lust is your ticket. It's actually your ticket to a better life. If you can learn to work with it, control it, whatever the right word is. People are going to critique whatever word I fucking use. But if you can learn to control your lust and just let it become your sexual nature again, you've learned a lot of massive lessons, and you've gotten closer to God through doing that. Connecting with God by controlling this very strong urge and this very strong impulse. So what did it do? You built integrity. You built discipline. You built self-respect. You built perseverance, patience, right? You built all these qualities because you overcame lust. So if you never had that in your life, you would never have anything to overcome, right? This is like the kid who was born into wealth. They always, typically, they have terrible personalities. They're not good people to be around because they've never had anything go against them. So they've never had to learn how to be a good human, right? So don't look at lust as your weakness. Look at it as your strength. Hey man, I struggle with all this lust inside of me, but as soon as I come out the other side, it's actually my superpower, right? It's the thing that strengthens me. So how do you overcome lust? Because once your sexual nature and your sexual desire falls into lust, it's extremely difficult to overcome. You need to, within your mind, think about it. Really, do some research. Look at the semen retention Reddit. I think that's a good place. Look on YouTube, watch these videos. Really learn and program your mind with, what do you lose when you indulge your lust? So it's like a thought experiment. What do I lose when I indulge? You lose time, your most valuable resource and asset. The only one you can't get back. You lose time. You lose money, because that's your time. You lose the ability to have a good, loving relationship with anyone in your life, right? It isolates you. So you could be losing a future family. You could be losing a future promotion, money. You could be, for your family specifically, the paragon of strength. You could be the man in your family, right? You're young, but you could be someone who your mother and father are proud of. You're losing these things when you indulge your lust, when you give in to your lust, right? All of these things are being taken from you. Satan came to steal, kill, and destroy. So you really have to build this mental model of, what am I losing? And you have to have something else that is bigger than your lust. Something that you want more than your lust. What do you want more than lust? For me, I want to have a family and be a man who is looked up to by other men. That's it. That's the truth. I want influence. Could give a fuck about power. Power will come with the influence. Could give a fuck about money. Money will come with the influence. I want influence personally. I want to influence the culture. I want to influence my friends, my family, and I want to start my own family. So these are things that I want and desire deep down, much more than my desire for sex. So there's your transmutation. You gotta have some type of desire that is bigger and greater and deeper than your lust. Something that you want more than you want sexual pleasure. You have to really think about these things. What am I losing? And what the fuck do I want? Because guess what? If you have these desires that you want deep down, you're losing those things when you give in to your lust. So this is mental models to help you overcome the lust, to understand that it's actually your strength, because it's the thing that you go to war with so you can become sharpened as a man, right? You want to be a sharp sword, not a dull sword. But your sword will never get sharpened if it's not put into the fucking fire and then battle tested. You'll never know. You'll never know if you have a sharp sword if you don't get tested in battle. Right now, you are in the battle and you're getting fucked up. Absolutely wrecked. You've been killed time and time and time again. It's time for you to pick up the shield, pick up the sword, and fight back. Win this battle, and the next battle, and the next battle. So that you can become someone. Right? I got a brother, 2 years older than me. His struggle, I'll tell y'all a little story about a dream I had. My brother's struggle in life has been drinking. And my struggle has been lust. We both come from the same DNA. And there's addiction on both sides of our family, mother and father. And I had a dream last summer. I was in the house. He was in the living room with my mom. My father was in his room, and I was in my room. And something came into the house. You know, everything's telepathic in a dream. And I knew something came into the house through my father's room. And my father was asleep, and this thing went past my father. And I went to the kitchen, and my brother was in the living room with my mom. And of course, it's telepathic. I alerted my brother, hey, something's here, come over here. And my mother didn't know. And my brother and I are standing in the kitchen, and we're looking down the hallway towards my father's room. And this thing came around the corner. I had a pistol. And right before it got to me, I pulled the trigger. I was standing in front of my brother. I pulled the trigger. Click. Nothing happened. No bullet came out. So I moved to my left and turned my back to run away. And this thing came at me. And right before it got me, my brother stabbed it in the back. He had a big ass knife. And he stabbed it in the back. And then I woke up. So all morning, I'm like, God, what is going on? What was this fucking dream? Why did I dream this? Why did I have this dream? I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm at the gym, and it just hit me while I was working out what it was. It was our addiction. My father's asleep. The addiction's got him. My mother doesn't even know it's there. The addiction's got her. But I'm aware. My brother doesn't know it's there without me. He doesn't even know it exists without me. I'm the one that can see it. But I can't fucking slay it. My brother has to slay it. I can't kill it. That's what I realized, is it was our addiction coming into the house. Because the whole house has got it. Right? I had to alert my brother. I got a weapon. My weapon don't work. I can see. I can see though. And he had to finish it off and kill it. And I told my brother, this is something we have to do together. That's what this dream was basically, I believe that we can extinguish a generational thing in our family with us. Like, it can end with us if we do this, right? So there you go, guys. Think about your lust as your strength. It's hardening you in battle. And go to battle. Go to war. Alright? So there you go. If you've watched this far, subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend that needs to see this. And y'all have a great day.